What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios. What's the one thing cooler than a force-sensitive being wielding a lightsaber in combat when they're fighting each other? So in today's challenge, I'm going to be building 3 of the most epic lightsaber duels in the Clone Wars as Lego Star Wars Mocs. One in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. As I was going through the various duels trying to pick my top 3, I found it really hard to choose one duel over another because it's lightsabers, they're all epic. So I also took into account who the combatants were facing off against and what setting they were in to determine which ones are the most epic. But that's all you need to know for now, so don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button and let's get started. Duel number 1 often flies under the radar, which is unfortunate because it's one of the rare times we get to see Darth Sidious and Master Yoda in action. And I think the only time we see him actually run.
I am speed.
This duel takes place deep in the works, a massive abandoned industrial complex on the planet of Coruscant where Darth Sidious's lair is located. The two end up fighting on a small catwalk and come to an intersection of sorts where a tall antenna is located, and this is where I'm going to build. As soon as I started building, I realized 50% of what I wanted to do wasn't going to work, which is every mock builder's favorite way to start a project. So I scrambled to throw together a round base made out of large quarter cylinders. These seem to come in clutch a lot for the 10-minute builds. After that is finished, I'm going to add some railings and some more small details. I feel like I either don't have enough time to do what I want for the 10-minute build or I get it done way too early. Anakin does join in on the action towards the end of this fight, but what I'm building takes place before that, which is good because I don't think I could fit another minifig on this base. I believe this is the first time we see Master Yoda and Darth Sidious fight, and boy is it a show. Yoda is flipping all over the place doing his thing, and Sidious is matching that energy right back at it. In prepping for this video, I went and rewatched the duels from the Clone Wars, and I forgot how skilled Sidious is. He toys with everyone he fights except for Yoda and Mace. And the fact that he disdained lightsabers and training with them makes his abilities with the blade even more impressive. I accidentally put Yoda too close to the antenna, so it looks like he's about to shoulder check it into oblivion. For build number 2, we are headed to Mandalore. I didn't realize how many epic lightsaber duels take place in the city until I was making my list, and at one point was considering 3 different Mandalore duels for the video. But this has to be one of my all-time favorite lightsaber duels. The battle between Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and Savage Opress. It almost sounds too good to be true. They start the fight in the throne room of the capital, but that might be coming up in a different mock, so I'm going to be building the part where they fight out on a balcony. It's a very small space, basically a doorway and a patio. To start the mock, I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Start with the middle of it. It's kind of a tower build with all the action happening in the middle, so I want to get that section done first, and then I can build off the top and bottom of it later. This being Mandalore, there's a lot of gray, but I noticed there was some gold detailing around the doorway, but I'm not going to include that because I don't want to overextend myself and try and build something too complicated, because we all remember how well that ends. The last thing to do is add in the floor. My light bluish gray tile stores are practically non-existent at this point. The last thing to do is add in the floor. My light bluish gray tile stores are practically non-existent at this point, so I'm going to try out a snot floor with pillars of brick. And once all that is in, this bad boy is practically done. Maybe this time around I'll actually have a Darth Sidious minifig to use. Darth Sidious learns Maul is training another apprentice and is working to overthrow him, so he jets off to Mandalore to solo the 2 of the most savage lightsaber wielders of this era. I don't know what I like more, all the crazy saber moves and footwork, or the fact that Sidious is basically cackling with glee throughout the entire fight. Also, that's not actually Sidious. I couldn't do an epic lightsaber duel top 3 list without including this one. The setting, score, and opponents might make it one of the most epic duels in all of Star Wars, period. I'm sure you've guessed it by now, but this is Darth Maul vs Ahsoka during the Siege of Mandalore. Not gonna lie, I had some trepidation going into this build because there are some incredible throne room mocks out there from the likes of Solid Brick Studios and Planet Tech. But I had to keep reminding myself it's not about building a masterpiece, but building something that looks cool and is reminiscent of the scene in under an hour. There are a few specific features I want to include. First and most obvious is the throne. It wouldn't be much of a throne room without one of those. It sits at the center of the back wall on a raised dais of steps. I'm not going to try and recreate an exact replica, I just want to make an elegant looking seat. Now for the windows. Tall, elegant, and blue, their intricate and complicated frames make them really hard to replicate in Lego, but I really liked what Planet Tech did with his mock. Building a wall of glass with the frame on the inside being built out of slopes and bricks. This allowed him to build any kind of shape he wanted without having to fit glass pieces inside of it. And that's about everything I had planned to build. The last thing to do is tile off the floor and add the battle damage. This is going to be a close one as I'm running really low on tile, so I might need to scavenge some from Coruscant. If worst comes to worst, I can leave the far end untiled because it's already gray. The duel on Mandalore showcases how far Maul and Ahsoka have come since the early days of the Clone Wars. Maul, who once fought with nothing but savage anger, learned how to hone and control it with precision, and Ahsoka, having left the Jedi Order to find herself, faces Maul with a confidence few would have in that situation. This mock turned out okay, I guess. I bit off more than I could chew with the size of the build, and the result is an unfinished mock. I think if I had left off those last 2 plates when building the frame, this mock would have been perfect. At least I was able to add some cool details like this broken window with debris lying around it and burn marks in the floor from Maul's lightsaber blades. I had more fun making this video than I thought I would. Normally I like to stick to clone-based builds, so I've been putting this one off for a while, but it turns out making Jedi duels is really fun as well. So if you have any suggestions for future Jedi-themed mock challenges, let me know in the comments. I could tell I was a little rusty doing the time challenge though, especially with that 1-hour build. It's just hard not to try and go all out when building the Mandalorian throne room. That's it for this challenge, but don't forget to let me know in the comments which mock was your favorite, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, happy building.